What up, people? I figured I would, like I said, just kind of do some football talk tonight. We're on the road for just a bit, so I figured I would come on here and kind of talk some football. Um, I really want to talk about, Georgia game this last weekend. I want to talk about the Bama game, and really just the SEC as a whole. I've been, what's up, Kobe? I don't know if I would say, anyways, I'm not surprised, but and Kobe, you can tell me how you feel about this. Anybody else that comes in, you can tell me how you feel. After watching Georgia yesterday, Georgia scored every single touchdown on the ground. As a Georgia fan, can you hear me okay, Kobe? I know I'm having to speak over the sound of the car, the truck, um, but after seeing Georgia yesterday, it was good to see us finally run the ball after getting pushed around up front by Missouri, knowing that Auburn is a better, has a better defense than Auburn. I mean, than Missouri, a better offense, or whatever you want to say. Um, so that was nice to see. But okay, good. But I think for me, as a Georgia fan, I would love to see a little bit more in the passing attack. Yes, Stetson had 200 yards passing. We threw probably 4 or 5 screens, and that had to be a total of 100 yards of where our offense came from. Whether it was just little flail screens, little hip screens. Uh, Stetson, he's been inaccurate. We've seen that as a Georgia fan, and I guess as a Georgia fan, my thought is, I yes, I want us to do good, but I don't want us just to win against teams we're already supposed to win against. I want to see us play dominant in every aspect. I don't want it to be, well, we're better than Auburn, so we're supposed to beat them. You beat them with nothing but rushing touchdowns. You're not going to do that against Bama. I don't even know how Ohio State looks. I don't know how Ohio State's defense looks. I don't know. But what I do know is teams like even Clemson, Clemson's secondary is not the greatest, but their front seven, they're not going to let us just run the ball on them. And I know we have time left. I completely get that. And I'll get to Bama. I'll get to the rest of the SEC as a whole. I get that we have time to put it all together. But it's been 3, 4 weeks in a row now that Stetson has not only looked inaccurate, but he looks like he's not all the way there. I mean, when they show Todd Monken up in the box, when they show our offense coordinator looks pissed. He looks mad at the world, dude. Like he literally looks mad at the world. And I hate it for him because I do believe he is an above average, if not elite offensive coordinator. But it's like Stetson is hindering that by a lot of these overthrows and underthrows. If Stetson was more accurate, he would not only be averaging 300 a game, he'd be in the 350 range. He's got a lot of targets all over the place, and it's just frustrating. And then you got some people, oh, y'all won 42-10. You should be happy about that, man. You beat them by 30. No, and that's the thing. That's why having a higher standard, you can't get along with teams that are middle of the road. You can't. So anyways, excited about Branson Robinson, though. Excited about Dejon Edwards. If you watch the game, you were able to see Georgia, as far as the whole running back you deal. I do think Kendall Milton is tough. I think Kenny McIntosh is great out of the backfield. But as far as running back you, that statement, that title is going to come back with Branson Robinson and Dejon Edwards. Edwards is a beautiful running back. When he runs the ball, I just the shiftiness. He reminds me of Jahmyr Gibbs. He's not as fast as Jahmyr Gibbs, but he definitely hits the hole and reads way more than I feel the other two do. Branson, he's just got to get more carries, but I love how Kirby's playing it. Kirby looks at it as, all right, hey, we're gonna bring him along easy. He's a freshman. We don't have to. He didn't have to be he didn't have to put the team on his shoulders just yet. So that to me is exciting. Exciting to see. But away from Georgia, watching the Bama game, I'd be very ignorant if I didn't admit Bama without Bryce Young, like not having your starting quarterback. Yes, you did not look great. Now, if their quarterback would have been decent, backup quarterback would have been decent, they would have won by a lot more. But Milrow is he is not that guy. I think he's one of those like projects that Nick Saban looks at as if I can get him to be accurate, he can be another Jalen Hurts for us and be able to hurt teams as far as running the read option or making them have to account for his legs because that dude is fast. You saw, even with him throwing almost 4 interceptions, he threw 2, but almost throwing 4 total interceptions. That dude looks nice when he takes off running. He's got a quick 0 to 60. It doesn't take him a lot of time to get going, but even then, when he does run, the dude looks 220. He looks 220 of solid muscle. Like, it doesn't look like it's going to be tough, or it doesn't look like it's going to be easy to stop him from running. And if you're Georgia, you're going to have to play the 5-2 mentality. But even then, the 5-2, your middle three of that 5 are going to be the rushers. The outside 2 are going to have to go in quarterback spot. Because if not, Milrose, he could not throw the ball at all, and still Texas A&M could not guard him. They could not put him at him. Bo Hunt says, congratulations on stopping. Talking about the barn. Yeah, facts, bro. Jacob says Alabama was missing Bryce Young and backup as it played. No, and I agree. I completely agree with that, Jacob. And that's the part that I'm saying is when Tua came in, Tua did not need reps. When Tua came in, he was good to go. When Mac Jones came in, he was good to go. Those guys are a lot older than Milrow. Do I agree? Yes, completely. But it makes you wonder, what has Milrow been doing in practice? If I was a Bama fan, that's what I would think. Because Carson Beck, last year, we almost had a shutout against UAB. Carson Beck threw a pick 6 against UAB. And it's like, so anyways, all I know is Texas A&M does not have the greatest offense in the world. Texas A&M's starting quarterback was out with a broken hand, and still Texas A&M managed to put up, 20 points? Am I correct? 20 points on Bama. And so if I'm Bama, I'm like, you gave up 20 points to them. You gave up 17 to Texas. I know Texas is decent. Texas turned around and got beat by Texas Tech. You've given up points to a few teams now. Tennessee is going to be the best offense that y'all play. Now, is their defense as good as Texas A&M? No. We know that's not the case. But what we do know, Tennessee don't mind getting in a scoring match. And lately, that's what they've done, is tried to put up as many points as they can. So, to be honest, I think Tennessee will be ready, like as far as offense goes. But will Jalen Milrow be ready to go against, Tennessee? No, Jacob, I'm saying that same Texas A&M that you said is nowhere near Bryce Young beat Texas A&M last year. So he didn't have to be Bryce Young. He just – you see what I'm saying? That what I'm saying is Alabama without Bryce Young is terrible. Texas A&M without their starting quarterback is still about the same. It makes you wonder how important – you see how important Bryce Young is to Bama. And to me, that's the part where I'm like, but I think Bama will be a lot better going into this next one. Bryce Young is playing. Okay, so coming off of an injury, Bryce Young will be playing against Tennessee. Are they going to take their time with him? You know what I mean? Are they going to slowly make sure the run game is doing well? Are they going to make sure that little things left and right are looking good? Or are they just going to go all out and let him just throw the ball? I know they will see it at practice, but I'm saying that's what I'm curious about. So anyways, Bama is still Bama, but they just, you could tell they looked a little off without, not having their boy, which I think we all can agree. It's tough when you don't have the Heisman quarterback, but I mean, either way. But next, Bo Hunt ready, son. I see you, boy. Okay. All right. Next, though, I do want to talk about the SEC as a whole. The thing about the SEC that we see every year, and yet people are still surprised. Like you had South Carolina just beat Kentucky. Like you see Tennessee's pretty good. You see um, Missouri played Florida decent, played Georgia decent. Like I think we're all starting to see that. Hold on, real quick, guys. What's up? Hold on, real quick. I'm at the store, guys. If y'all want anything, let me know. Yes, sir. You said 18. 18. Can I give you a quarter? And you just give me $2. You can keep whatever's after that, the change after. I should have told you earlier. I'm sorry. Was it too late? Okay, that's fine. It's okay. Um, like I said, guys, if y'all want anything from the store, let me know now before I leave. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, man. Have a good day. All right. So this is my deal too, guys, and I want you to tell me your opinion on this. My deal of the SEC is it's the SEC for a reason. You have players. I mean, there's not it's not a miracle. It's not a surprise that every year the SEC has the most players drafted in the first, second, and third round. I want to say it's the first two rounds for sure. It's because like these SEC rosters are loaded with most of the best players coming out of high school. That does not mean that three stars cannot develop. That does not mean walk-on quarterbacks can't develop. I'm not saying that. But my thing is, when you see these teams go down, when you see Kentucky lose to a South Carolina, I said it all year. Kentucky has played nothing but run-heavy teams. Not saying that I knew Kentucky's secondary wasn't the greatest, but they've not played a team that can pass the way that South Carolina did. So that was going to be the curious question mark in the room was how were they going to fare? And we saw exactly how they fared against it. So it's just that's the part of the SEC that I think people are so wild about. Like, man, that's crazy. Oh, Missouri's not good or Vanderbilt's not good. Vanderbilt's actually playing well. Like, how much did Vanderbilt put up on Alabama? I don't have my other phone, but didn't Vandy score 20 on Alabama? And I'm not taking away from Alabama on that. I'm saying Vandy is starting to get a little different. So it's just one of those things, y'all, where I am very happy with the SEC, but there's a reason why teams in the SEC do not stay ranked the entire time because they're playing each other. You get beat up, you get worn down. And I get ACC fans will tell me the same thing. Big 12 fans will tell me the same thing. But I don't know. I'm in a world now where I'm super excited to be, a Georgia fan for sure. Oh, it was only 3. Okay. Who was it? Was it last game, guys? Oh, it was Ole Miss. That's right. Vandy put up 20 on Ole Miss, if I'm correct. And it's like Vandy is starting to change. I think their coach is in their second year, but like nobody would have ever expected Texas A&M's offense to put up 20 on Bama. Like you wouldn't because you're like, man, that not only is their offense terrible, but their starting quarterback's hurt, and they still put it up. So just like Alabama's defense is not as strong as it usually is, well, Georgia's offense is not as strong as it usually is. So the same way that Bama fans feel about their defense, that's the same exact way that Georgia fans feel about their offense. It's cool to be able to push around Auburn. That's cool and all. But at the end of the day, it's Auburn. Bama, even though their defense isn't where they want it to be, they will not allow us to run the ball like that. Not just run it down their throat every single time. Saban will not allow that. So I'm just saying I'm excited to see where Georgia and Bama are in the SEC. It's neat to see Clemson starting to get into their groove, getting going. But the way college football works, and whenever me and Fishing had talked about this before, teams are trying to get hot about the right time. You don't want to hit your peak too early. And even then, teams that hit it at the right time, you have to be good enough, whether it's having a good enough roster, a well disciplined team, good enough coach, whatever you want to call it, or all three, whatever the factors are, you have to have a good enough team to be able to sustain that peak for the majority. And once you sustain it, once you get into the playoffs towards the end of the season, then you can allow the momentum, the hype, the motivation of that to carry your team. But that's like I said, that's kind of where I'm at right now. It's just really, really excited to see where things are going. Even though Florida played terrible, to still pull out a W on Missouri shows that Florida does have a decent team. They are just going under a first-year head coach, and once they put it together, they're going to be tough to play. Well, as a Georgia fan, we play Vanderbilt, then we have an off week, and then we play Florida. So that's what it's like. It's college football, y'all. Like that's the part about college that I love. And my whole point coming on here was just saying people get so surprised whenever teams show up and show out certain days and then don't show up this day. And I just think it's hard to bring your A game every single game. And we've seen that from college football teams over the last however long. But we'll see, though. Jacob, I am going to be – I think that'll be one of the really, really good games to watch. I'm glad that Bryce Young is coming back. But this is what I hope, though, Jacob. Or I don't hope. I hope that they're not bringing Bryce Young back just because it's Tennessee. I hope they're bringing him back because he's healthy, bro. You get what I'm saying? And I know you do too, because the last thing we want is him to go down. I never want a player to get hurt. But the last thing I want is for Bryce Young to go down, bro, and be out the rest of the year. He's too good. I think Bama can afford a loss and then have a healthy Bryce Young going into the rest of the season. So, anyways, guys, look, I'm gonna let you guys go. I'm gonna go in here. I'm gonna get something to eat. When I get home, I'm gonna stream that Days Gone game, the zombie game. But I just wanted to come on here and talk some college football. I do appreciate you guys coming to hang out. It is always fun hanging out with you guys. Jacob, well, the thing is, though, it's not that it's a serious injury, Jacob. It's a lingering one. Having a labrum is something that if it just stays sore, it's a nagging injury. It's not like anything was broken. So I do agree with that. But all right, guys, I love y'all. Y'all stay safe in these streets. Tiger Basket's gonna try to as well. What up, Alan?